there is a school of thought in India which feels that, for the next 20 years, we must focus single-mindedly on high GDP growth and then worry about the environmental issues later, what I call the grow now, pay later model. It's a very influential school. It's a dominant school. Economists, politicians, thinkers, and so on, saying that environment is all middle class luxury, Western concerns. But the fact of the matter is that we need environmental concerns much more than most other countries in the world because of the vulnerabilities we have to climate change, because of the fact that unlike in Western countries where environmentalism is lifestyle environmentalism, in India it relates to livelihoods, security of livelihoods. So I think this notion that environment is a luxury is simply a mistaken notion. The other notion amongst the Indian corporate sector is that environment is a regulatory burden. It's not a regulatory burden. It's something that you have to do as part of your corporate strategy. If you're saying that you have CSR and you're going to be a good corporate citizen, what better way there is than by following laws and standards and regulations for clean air, for clean water, and so on and so forth. So I think, it's paradoxical because there is no culture in the world which venerates nature more than Indian culture. We have gods and goddesses for every animal, for every aspect of biodiversity. We worship our rivers, we worship our mountains. We have Durga riding on a lion, we have Durga riding on a tiger, we have Ganesha riding on a mouse. Ganesha himself is half an elephant. So we have all these, when you go into Indian culture, you have enormous respect for nature and biodiversity. But unfortunately, in our day-to-day behavior, is just the opposite. So, those whom we want to neglect, we make them into gods and goddesses because we have no intention of following, those precepts. So it's not an alien culture. It's something inherent in Indian culture, respect for nature. And there's a very famous saying in the saying Prakriti Rakshati Rakshata. It means nature protects those who protect it. If you're going to destroy the mangroves, you're going to have tsunami. If you're going to cut through mountains, you're going to have landslides. So nature has a very lethal way of responding to human activity which disturbs the equilibrium. It's an account of the 26 months that I was Minister for Environment and Forest and the type of issues that came up. How do you resolve them? Because you need growth. You need high growth to generate jobs. For growth, you need investment. Okay? So we shouldn't knock growth. Growth is essential. At the same time, you need to protect natural resources because you have future generations to bequeath this to. And then we are a political system which is a democratic, where people have different points of view. You have to hear them out. So this book is really how politics, economics, and ecology, converge. And how do you take decisions which are economically desirable, which are environmentally sustainable, but which are done in a politically democratic concept, like, for example, what do you do about BT brinjal, genetically modified food crops? How do you decide on genetically modified food crops? There are people who agitate the famous Niyamgiri episode about bauxite mining, out of a mountain, which is considered to be a god by the tribals. Do you allow that bauxite mining or not? How do you decide such issues? How do you build dams on the Bhagirathi in Uttarakhand? Dams after dams after dams, and you don't have any water left in the river, So how are these trade-offs made? That's the issue. How are these trade-offs made? How are decisions taken? How do you listen to different points of view? And how do you arrive at a decision, finally, that takes into account politics, economics, and ecology? I think it's a great idea because, right now the marketplace for ideas is dying. First of all, whatever marketplace there is, it's a monoculture marketplace. It's only one point of view. And I think you need diversity, you need multiple points of view, and you need knowledge which is beyond 140 characters, and which is trivialized. I'm really concerned at the rapid decline of public debate, public discourse, scholarship. People, are reading now on mobile phones, and people are reading short characters, and the patience to engage is going. And I think that's very important, that we recover the spirit of reasoning, the spirit of debate, the spirit of differing. I mean, I have absolutely no hesitation in debating somebody who has a completely different point of view. I think we should be open. I mean, unfortunately, we have defined democracy as freedom of speech, but everybody wants to speak, but nobody wants to listen. So what sort of a democracy is this? Everybody's just got a great point of view on any topic under the sun, but the ears are closed for reasoning, for argumentation. And it's paradoxical, because Amartya Sen has called us an argumentative culture. We were once upon a time, I suppose, an argumentative culture, but that argumentation has gone. A space for ideas which are not polemical, a space for ideas which are not partisan, a space for ideas which do not have a political agenda, an overt or a covert political agenda. I think that's what is important. I think ideas should be debated for the strength of ideas, not because it corresponds to one political point of view or some other political point of view. It should be debated openly, and I think that's really the essence of forums like this.